let us meet 4 different individuals who fell ill with the same disease but whose lives were affected in vastly different ways. First, let us get an insight in the life of Suraj. Suraj is a budding entrepreneur who lives a happy life filled with friends and family, who would describe him as a jolly fellow. But one unfateful day, Suraj wasn't feeling too well and coughed up blood. A visit to the doctor confirmed that Suraj had tuberculosis. He was referred to his local tuberculosis center, where his treatment began immediately. Once Suraj was diagnosed, he felt a large difference in how people acted around him. They isolated him and talked about him like he was contagious. The isolation reached a point where Suraj had no one to talk to. His friends and family abandoned him, and he was quite depressed. Even though his ailment was treatable, the depression took a toll on his life. Now, let us meet our second friend, Fatima, a 25-year-old who is set out to be married in 6 months. But like Suraj, Fatima too was diagnosed with tuberculosis and started treatment for the same. The disease changed Fatma's life forever, as she saw her bright future vanish before her very eyes. Her wedding was called off because of the social stigma attached to the disease. And even after Fatima was completely cured of tuberculosis, her life was never the same. The third person I'd like you to meet is Manoj. Manoj is a 40-year-old mathematics teacher who was diagnosed with tuberculosis about 3 months ago. Soon after diagnosis, Manoj started treatment at his local tuberculosis center. However, as soon as Manoj started feeling better, he discontinued his treatment and left his medication midway. As was to be expected, soon afterwards, Manoj fell ill again. Only this time, it was worse than before. The last person we'll be meeting is Tara, our ideal patient. Tara was diagnosed with tuberculosis, but with the help and support of family and friends, she finished her treatment and was completely cured. Today, Tara is active, healthy and happy in her personal as well as professional life. Every year, around 13 lakh people die of tuberculosis all around the world. Out of these, more than 4 lakh people are from India alone. What makes tuberculosis so deadly, you may ask? Tuberculosis is caused by a bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis, and turns out it's a highly contagious disease. This bacteria could cause primary tuberculosis or secondary tuberculosis. The infection could either be latent or active. About 5 to 10% of the individuals who have latent tuberculosis can become sick if not treated. The infected people can then pose a threat to the people around them. Now the question arises, can tuberculosis be cured? Well, it can. A simple strategy called DOTS has been implemented, which requires taking only 4 drugs over a period of 6 months. This ensures that there is standardized treatment and continuous evaluation and monitoring of the patient. This treatment, however, may not work in case of drug-resistant tuberculosis, for which second-line drugs are now in use. Drug resistance can be as a result of non-compliance to treatment or because the bacteria was already resistant to the drug. So, how can we prevent the infection? We can stop the spread of infection from person to person. We can treat the infected person that comes to us. And finally, vaccinate the baby at birth for the prevention of secondary tuberculosis. With awareness and action, tuberculosis can now be eradicated. And it's up to all of us, because it's time!